The College of William and Mary, a university located in the colonial capital of America, teams with multi-ethnic students filing through campus tours and admissions interviews. The college's undergraduate statistics boast of a 45% diversity rate and a campus that lacks discrimination based on gender, ethnicity, or race, complete with a Center for Student Diversity and an active affirmative action plan. As the second oldest college in the United States, William & Mary's past involves an extensive history of slavery. Its esteemed alumni include Thomas Jefferson, James Monroe, John Tyler, and George Washington, who, combined, held over 800 enslaved men, women, and children during their lifetimes. How can the college admit and fully acknowledge its past in light of the 21st century? The answer comes in the form of the Lemon Project. The Sir Christopher Wren Building, constructed between 1695 and 1700, stands as the oldest college building still in use today. Fitting for a colonial college chartered in 1693, enslaved men built the building from the ground up. In fact, enslaved men and women were gifted and bought by the college for construction and domestic work. Inside this building, the sons of Virginia planters attended classes and church services while slaves labored in the basement. The oldest known drawing of the Wren depicts the building during the 4 years that it served as the government seat when the capital of the colonies moved to Williamsburg. As campus expanded, enslaved men and women not only lived and worked in the kitchen, but inhabited outbuildings scattered across College Yard. Along with cooking meals for students and faculty, enslaved people attended to mandated housekeeping needs. For increased supervision, the faculty and masters prohibited keys from being given to slaves in order to prevent travel and runaways. Meanwhile, college students attended class, social events, and church services in the Wren Chapel and the Great Hall. The President's House, built in 1723, is the last primary building from historic campus that was constructed with the use of slave labor. Thomas Roderick Dhu, a staunch defender of slavery, lived here along with David Young Paschal, a key figure in the massive resistance movement that sought to prevent segregation. New Rafferton, an American Indian school constructed in 1723, was made so that the Christian faith may be propagated amongst Western Indians to the glory of God. British colonists believed that natives, although not equal to white settlers, would eventually be assimilated into civilized white society. This process included a Christian education combined with attempts to teach plantation practices. Ultimately, this policy failed to be successful. Until the American Revolution, this building housed students who, although not considered to be full American citizens, escaped the institution that bound its builders in servitude. Many students and faculty do not know that the college owned a plantation known as Nottoway Corner that was established in 1718. The college owned 17 enslaved workers that farmed tobacco so that the profits would be given to elite white students to attend the college.
Went down to the river Jordan.
And we know, based on other records about gentry lifestyle, that if you were an elite white person, you traveled with a personal slave. But we do know when Jefferson was a little bit older and he was first traveling to Williamsburg as a member of the House of Burgesses from Albemarle County, he traveled to Williamsburg with a personal slave then, as did other members of the House of Burgesses and the council. So their sons are going to be doing the same thing when they go to the college.
Records show that young masters brought enslaved men with them on campus. Reports of ridicule, harassment, and injury from students toward slaves owned by the college engendered a loosely enforced rule that stated, quote, "No student shall abuse, strike, or injure Negroes," unquote. The college maintained a written record of property values. Included in this list is Lemon, an enslaved man for whom the project is named. A 19th century political cartoon contrasts the miserable life of a northern factory worker to that of joyful slaves. Publications such as this, and philosophies exemplified by paternalism, defended Virginians' way of life against increased anti-slavery sentiment. Besides those already owned by the college, William and Mary hired and rented enslaved men and women at local public auctions. During times of financial need, the college sold slaves while purchasing others during periods of prosperity. The War of Emancipation touched the heart of Williamsburg as well. Benjamin Ewell, the college's president during the Civil War, served as a Confederate officer despite Union sentiments. Using slave labor, especially that owned by the college, Ewell ordered the construction of redoubts just outside of town. The Battle of Williamsburg began as a skirmish that ended in a perceived Union victory. Before retreat, Jubal Early stationed his army on William and Mary's campus. Remnants in the form of bullet holes from Union artillery remain in the bricks of the Wren building. Along with demanding reparations for the burning of the Wren, Ewell's abolitionist sentiments became public. However, the president denounced the malicious libel that he, quote, had suggested Negro students be received at William and Mary, unquote.
The Duke of Gloucester Street, located just beyond College Yard, played an essential role during the Battle of Williamsburg. The road, known simply as Main Street during the 18th century, divided the town into Union and Confederate lines.
Williamsburg landmarks such as Bassett Hall, the home of John D. Rockefeller, served as the headquarters for Colonel Goodrich Durfee, an acquaintance of George Armstrong Custer.
During and after the Battle of Williamsburg, Broughton Parish Church functioned as a hospital where open surgeries were performed on gravestones, and now marks the resting place of over 40 Confederate soldiers.
The 1920s witnessed an emergence of black culture. Movements such as the Harlem Renaissance celebrated African American writers, artists, and musicians. Jazz music permeated the age as radio revolutionized mass culture and communication. The stock market boomed, making Wall Street a symbol of wealth, greed, and power. Following the upward trend in consumerism, American households bought on credit, took out loans, and fell into a false sense of financial security. New ideas of female liberation in the form of the flapper materialized in urban centers. Women wore shorter dresses, drank alcohol, danced, and practiced birth control. Beneath the idyllic exterior, lynchings, mob intimidation, and segregation proliferated. Ku Klux Klan membership increased to over 4 million members. This trend did not escape the college itself. Jim Crow laws helped keep African Americans from attending classes, while black employees suffered from low wages. In 1926, the Ku Klux Klan gifted the college a flagpole that stood at a bus stop primarily used by African Americans for transit.
In 2006, residence buildings previously named Jamestown South and Jamestown North were renamed Lemon Hall and Hardy Hall. Carol Hardy, an administrator in student affairs, advocated and worked towards a more diverse campus here at William & Mary. She also established the National Black Student Leadership Development Conference. Lemon Hall recognizes Lemon, the enslaved man and the namesake for the Lemon Project. Although these titles are a step in the right direction, the Lemon Project hopes to construct a monument that recognizes the enslaved men, women, and children on campus.
The Lemon Project exemplifies the effort to discuss all aspects of history, right and wrong. It addresses these faults while creating a future of safety, prosperity, and recognition for those descendants of a people enslaved by the land of liberty for the color of their skin. Centers for student diversity, equality, affirmative action, and the right to protest must be upheld on college campuses. Through its actions in the present, William & Mary is no longer trying to erase the past, but face it.
There are lots of other colleges now starting to look at their history of slavery and Jim Crow, and this stuff never really will go away if we don't actually find out as much as we can, study it, make it public, and then hopefully we can begin to really move forward. But until you really deal with the past, it's going to always somehow come up again. And I liken it to kind of an infection. I mean, you may get rid of the telltale signs of an infection, but eventually it's going to bubble back up again.